So you think 1992 was a big year for Hasbro? Well, wait till you see 1993. How about 15 new figures and 18 new mission sets? Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Paul Knapp coming to you once again from the Man Cave. And today we got a lot to cover. First off, the Hall of Fame series. After coming off the 1992 season, 1993, they created 9 new Hall of Fame figures. After that, they decided to say, let's come out with 2 basic figures and have a bunch of mission gear sets to dress these figures up. Kind of reminiscent of the old 1964 days when they would have separate sets that you could just add on and add on. So they came up with 18 mission sets for these 2 figures. Finally, Street Fighters was very popular, the video game. So they had 4 Street Fighters that came out that year. So let's get started on these 33 possible G.I. Joe outfits. So once again, here are your 4 different types of G.I. Joes that came out in 1993. Starting off, we had, I guess you could say 8 with one variation to make it 9 Hall of Fame sets. This would be the first one here. I'm going to cover these individually. Then they came out with the mission sets. There were deluxe mission sets as well as just basic mission sets. This is one of the figures that was a basic figure. There were 2 of these that you would dress up all the mission sets with. And then finally, they had the Street Fighters, the 4 Street Fighters. And I'll cover those individually. We're going to start off with Ace. So to start off the year, 1993, we're looking at Ace, the fighter pilot. This would have been an Air Force type flight suit. Did come with a machine gun of sorts and a sidearm and his flight helmet. Still using that same muscle body type that was brought out in 1992. Okay. But this is the first of the Hall of Fame figures. This is Ace, the fighter pilot. Our second Hall of Fame figure for the year, 1993, was Destro. There were 2 bad guys, enemies of G.I. Joe that year. One is Destro. Came with the dagger and missile launcher on the weapon, on the long gun. But here he is, the 1993 Destro. Our second bad guy for the year, Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow came with 2 katana swords, 2 grenades, and the long gun with the missile launcher. Kind of in a snow outfit, I guess you could say. Not sure if this was from the comic book series, but I don't recall this in the cartoon series, this outfit. But he did have a painted on mask, face covering that is painted on, but still a good looking figure. Storm Shadow. Now in 1993 they decided to redo the Duke figure. They put him in the Woodland Camis fatigues with 4 silver grenades, a sidearm, a knife, the long gun, and a missile launcher. He was the only figure that they had battle command sounds. So you would push a button on his back, he had a speaker on his chest, and he would give orders. This one obviously doesn't work since 1993. Battery operated, I'm sure, of some sort on the inside. I've never taken it apart, but here he is, the Duke Talking Battle Commander, 1993. Probably one of my favorite outfits of all time, including the early ones in the 1960s and to the modern era, is the dress Marine. Always a classy outfit. This is Gung Ho. He is Master Sergeant, as you can see. Has a sword, pistol, no holster though. Not sure why that is. A knife, not sure why that is needed, but if he has a sword, but he has a knife, long rifle, and his missile launcher. So this is the dress uniform, Gung Ho, 1993. Next up is Flint. Love this guy. Love this cami look. It's reminiscent of the Vietnam era, I believe. Came with his long gun. Had a missile launcher in there. He had a green knife with a green sidearm, and on his back he has a shovel and green grenades. This is Flint. Now, the only figure that had two versions of him in 1993 was Rock and Roll. He came with either the tan shirt or the green shirt. No other ones had a variant that year other than this one. The bottoms were the same, the cami pants were the same, the two green grenades, the power pack on the back for his weapon, this interesting looking futuristic weapon for both of them with the brown boots. But again, this was the only one, and I usually don't collect variants, but I wanted to show this because if I just showed the green shirt one, somebody's going to say they had a tan one, so I do have both. And this is Rock and Roll for 1993. And to round out the 1993 Hall of Fame series, we have Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire came with a lot of gear. A lot of it you can't see. I have it in his backpack. He has a searchlight on the back. M16. He has another long gun that's not shown here. He has a grappling hook in his other hand. Pistol, knife, tactical vest, goggles. But this is Rapid Fire. Before we get started on the special mission gear for the year, I think we should cover the two basic figures that they wanted you to use the special mission gear with. This is Grunt and Heavy Duty. These were the two what I call basic figures that came out. No rank, no blouse, just simply cami bottoms, fatigues, M16, black boots, white t-shirt, and green helmet. Very simple dress. Again, no ranks on these guys, no grenades, no knife, nothing else. Just a basic figure. But from here, you would put on all your mission gear. So let's get started on looking at those. So this first set is called the Red Beret Weapons Arsenal. You got the red or maroon looking grappling hook. Looks like an MP5, silver color. Two knives, a pistol, two silver grenades, the red beret with the red goggles. But again, this is just on that basic figure, and you would just add these mission sets to any basic figure that you wanted. Now with the green beret weapons arsenal, you would get the green colored beret. You would get a knife with a sheath. This is a larger knife. You get a set of goggles, but they almost look like scuba goggles, but there's no scuba tank. You would get a diver's watch, the M16 in silver, another long gun in green. You would get a silver knife on the side, as well as a sidearm, and two silver grenades. So slightly different than the red beret. This was the green beret arsenal. You are looking here at the 1993 Arctic Assault mission gear. This came with the snow goggles, the white rifle with mittens, the boots. Also has skis and poles attached to his back. I used the Storm Shadow figure for this. Thought it'd look a lot better with the kind of mask over his face, better than the basic figure, but I really like this one. Again, this is the Arctic Assault mission gear. Shown here is the underwater attack mission gear. Came with fins, scuba tanks, goggles, I'm assuming some type of underwater rifle, knife, and dive watch. This next one is our SWAT mission gear. Came with a rifle and a launcher. Also had his goggles, had a stocking cap. And once again, I used the Storm Shadow masked version. I thought this looked a little bit better. It has a backpack on the back with a searchlight and some other gear, but for the most part, this is it. This is the SWAT Assault mission gear. Now, ironically enough, this one is known as the Light Infantry mission gear. It looks more like a rock climbing guy to me. All he has is his grappling hook, the vest, goggles, helmet, and this thing, which is a contraption for him to sit on after he shoots his grappling hook, across the ravine, and sits on this and slides across. So no weapons, no grenades. I'm not sure how it's a light infantry, but that's what they're calling this, the Light Infantry mission gear set. Now this is the Jungle Patrol mission set. I liked using this figure. Now this figure did not come out until the following year. This is the painted Grunt figure, but I liked him with the Jungle Patrol. I thought it looked better than just a plain figure, so kind of jumped ahead on years here as far as a figure to use with this gear, but thought it looked a lot better. He does have his knife, 2 grenades, his weapon with a launcher. Came with green boots and his black beret. So once again, this is the Jungle Patrol mission gear, 1993, but a 1994 figure. They're calling this one the Desert Camo mission gear. You got 2 black grenades, the long gun with the launcher, a black knife, sidearm, goggles, helmet, and the kind of interesting desert cami look. Not sure if they ever use this again. I like it, but it's definitely not one that they've used very often. So again, desert cami mission gear, 1993. Here is the Red Ninja mission gear. Came with a face mask, 2 swords, a knife, the grappling hook gun, red outfit with a hoodie, black boots. The figure I used for this, thought that looked a lot better. If you watched my last video, you'll know what figure that is. Again, this is the Red Ninja mission gear. The next one on our list is the Mountain Assault mission gear. This guy came with a stocking cap, goggles, grappling hook, weapon, knife, the rope, and a soft backpack, along with the climbing boots, the spikes. Now, I just recently did a video on this guy. This is the Ultimate Arsenal mission gear. So you can look up the video in detail on this. But this is the 1993 Ultimate Arsenal weapons gear. Now this piece of gear is known as the Mobile Artillery Assault mission gear. It is huge, almost too big to fit on my shelf. And this is when Hasbro starts going crazy on you. They have to combine stuff with Nerf and get it so big that it's so unrealistic now. But this did come out in 1993, so I wanted to include it. It is known as the Mobile Artillery Assault mission gear set. Now this is one of 2 deluxe sets that came out in 1993. This is the Navy SEAL Commando Deluxe mission gear. There were 2 larger sets that came with a lot more equipment. You can see he's got the fins, the oar, assault rifle, stocking cap, wetsuit, binoculars, scuba tanks. So again, Navy SEAL Commando. Now the other deluxe set that came out in 1993 was actually for the enemy. This is for Cobra. This is a Cobra Helicopter Attack Deluxe Mission Gear. Came with the flight suit, a dagger, missile launcher, sidearm. Had 2 black grenades and the helicopter pack with the helmet. So a really nice set. But again, this one was for the bad guys. This was for Cobra. The Cobra Helicopter Attack Deluxe Mission Gear. So these next 4 uniforms I'm showing to you as a group. These are the Army Boot Camp gear, the Air Force Flyer gear, the Marine Parris Island gear, and the Navy Shore Patrol gear. Again, all these came out in 1993. The Shore Patrol just had a sidearm with the white outfit and white helmet. None of these 3 outfits came with headgear. The Marine Parris Island came with 2 black grenades and a green M16 rifle. The Air Force Flyer came with a knife, no sheath, and a black M16, no helmet. And the Army Boot Camp gear came with, again, 2 black grenades, M16, and no helmet. So those I put in a grouping, but those were 4 individuals with the 1993 Hall of Fame outfits. And finally, rounding out the year, we have 4 Street Fighters. This is Street Fighter Guile, coming right out of the Street Fighter II video game. Street Fighter Guile. Our second Street Fighter here is known as M. Bison. Nobody really knows what the M stands for. Interesting history on this gentleman if you look it up on YouTube. But he was the leader of the bad guys. And again, 1993, Street Fighter II, right out of the video game, M. Bison. And this gentleman here is known as Blanka. He is the 3rd Street Fighter from Street Fighter II video games. Blanka. And the last action figure for the year 1993, Ryu. Ryu. This is the karate expert, I guess you could say, for Street Fighter II. Has his 2 swords, 2 grenades, his knife, and his weapon, long gun with launcher. No boots with this individual though. One of the few times you ever see a G.I. Joe with no shoes. But so Ryu rounds out the year of 1993. Well, if you've been counting along with me, that makes 33 possible G.I. Joe figures that could have come out in the year 1993. With all the sets and all the figures, it was a big year, and I'm sure this is going to be a long video once I'm finished. I apologize for that, but I wanted to make sure we got every figure in and every figure set that came out in the year. Hopefully 1994 won't be as long. Thanks for watching.